How's it going? Welcome to the Godfather Aesthetics. I want to thank you for showing up today because we're going to talk about something kind of interesting. I think it'll probably help a lot of you guys out there. A lot of people ask me, hey, what's the best training schedule or best training program that I should use, you know? Well, I'm here to talk to you about three very specific ones. Now, before I go any further, I realize that there's like 10,000 different training protocols out there, especially with the internet. I mean, you could get online and you can find anybody's routine. You can find any kind of workout program, and they're all probably going to work pretty good as long as you stick to them. Because like a recipe, as long as you stick to the recipe, it may not be the food that you like, but it's going to come out right? So, same thing with training protocols, right? So, I'm going to go over three basic ones. They're the ones that I've used over the years. I've used it with my clients. I've used it with my friends. I've used it being on sports teams. I've used it just for my own benefit, okay? So, there's going to be a little bit of overlap between all three of them, okay? Because they're not standalones, you know? There's some overlap, okay? Some of the exercises, you can use the same exercises, okay? But as far as which one's best for you, okay? Maybe at where you're at in your life right now, the first one will be the best for you. Maybe 2 years, 3 years down the road, the second one will be better for you, okay? Because it's going to change. Life is dynamic, okay? It's not static. So we're very dynamic individuals, so things are going to come and go, things are going to change for us, okay? So hopefully this information will be pretty useful, okay? The three basic types of exercise protocols that I use, that I can recommend, that you can find out which one's going to work for you right now, okay? Basically, what we're going to call push-pull legs, that's one. The second one is we're going to call the antagonistic method, okay? And then the last one we're going to do is the 5-day-a-week traditional bodybuilding protocol. Okay? All right, so let me get started. Now remember, there's going to be a little bit of overlap on all three of these because, let's face it, we're just lifting weights, okay? But it's what you do with the weight, not just how you lift it. And it's more of what you do with the weight, not how heavy it is, okay? So I'm going to show you, give you some advice so that you can maybe maximize your potential and get where you want to go a little bit faster than normal, okay? Now listen, Rome wasn't built in a day, so be patient with your program. So when you try one of these programs, give yourself at least a month or two on it, okay? It's not going to happen overnight, but you'll get to know your body, you get to know what works for you, what's maybe not so great, what exercises or what protocols make your body respond better, okay? Or it's just nice to change it up once in a while, because can you imagine doing the same thing every day, day in, day out, for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years? I mean, God, that'd be... Imagine eating pasta and beans every night for 10 years? Madon, crazy. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't know anybody who would. So here we go. We're going to break it down. Number one, we call this one push-pull legs, okay? Now, push-pull legs is basically based around the bench press, the conventional deadlift, and the squat, okay? So you're going to be working 3 days a week on this one, okay? Now, most people break that down Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Most people who work anyway or go to school. But you can really do it any days you want. Ideally, you're going to want a day of rest off after each day of training. So you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you, okay? But this push-pull legs, okay? Basically what you're doing is you're using a series of heavy compound movements for each body system. So all your pushing muscles, okay? That's going to be basically your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. Your pulling muscles, which are going to be your back, your lats, your biceps, your trapezius, okay? And then, of course, your leg muscles. And we all know about legs. Legs is going to be the one body part that's the overlap on all three of these protocols, okay? So here's the deal. Now, who is going to benefit the most from a push-pull legs? Well, I think by and large, the first people are going to be beginners, because when you're new, you don't have a ton of muscle mass on you, already, and you don't know too much, so it's a good way of learning, okay? Because it's very basic, it's very simple, okay? So basically, what you're going to do is when you start on your Monday, which is your push, you're going to work your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. So the basic exercise I would do, that I have usually done, okay, would be I would start with a flat bench, and then I would go to a dumbbell, incline dumbbell press, bench press. Then I would do like a military press, standing. I like standing military press to the front with a barbell, okay. Then I would do some lateral raises for the delt heads, All right. Then I'll do some dips. And then I'll do some overhead dumbbell presses, seated. I like them seated to support my lower back. And that's it. So basically, you're not doing any antagonistic muscle groups. You're only using the push muscles, okay? And you're going to do that. Now, it's pretty nice because, like I said, it's great for beginners. It's great for thinner guys. It's great for power lifters. If you're trying to get your powerlifting up, but you want some nice shape to your body, it's great for that. It's really great for all strength athletes. So if you're a football player, a rugby player, any other kind of anybody where you need strength, it's a really good way to get in and out of the gym. You're not spending your whole life in the gym, but it's going to get you really good results. Okay, and on top of that, it's really great for people with limited time. I mean, if you don't have 2 hours a day, 7 days a week to give to your training, because who does? I mean, that's just crazy, right? You're really, if you're solo, you're in and out of there maybe an hour and 20 minutes, 3 times a week. Maybe with a partner, hour and a half, a little bit longer. So it's not that long. The training is pretty slow paced because what you're trying to do is, since you're working mostly compound movements, you want to rest in between sets. So you don't want to be all huffing and puffing like crazy. You want to make sure your ATP regenerates. You want to make sure your wind is back before you hit your next set. You're going to use basically all compound movements. So there's a few isolation exercises in there, but by and large, it's all compound movements, okay? And then on top of that, it's pretty low volume. So, you're not doing too many exercises, you're not doing too many sets, too many reps. I would keep the rep range anywhere from 6 to 12, maybe legs a little higher, maybe up to 15s, but 6 to 12, 8 to 12, that's a pretty good way to do it. Okay, I pretty much went over chest day. Back day, which maybe is your Wednesday, that's your pull day, okay? That's going to basically consist of the exercise I choose, conventional deadlifts, okay? I like conventionals that hit my back really good, whole back. Then I'm going to do some bent rows with a barbell. I like to do some chin-ups. I like to keep my hands close on those, okay? And they're a lot harder than you think, okay? Some of you guys can't even do one. I know at my body weight right now, I'm good for maybe 8 or 9, It's not that great, but if I had to pull myself up, I could. So that's pretty good. Then you want to do some dumbbell or barbell shrugs. I prefer dumbbell shrugs. It's just a personal thing. And you want to finish with some straight or cambered barbell curls, okay? And that's it. You're in and out of there. That's not a lot. So you can see those are all beefy, kind of most amount of beef for the time spent in exercises, okay? There's nothing wishy-washy there. So on your last day, which might be a Friday or a Saturday, but it's always a day out, a day in between, all right? You're going to do your legs. And legs, pretty much going to start with your squats. Got to do your squats, okay? Now, you can get really big legs without squats, but if you do squats, you're going to have really well-developed, overall developed legs. They're going to come out pretty good, all right? But make sure you don't hurt your back. Make sure you don't hurt your knees. Make sure you're doing it right. If you don't have somebody in the gym to spot you or to tell you, hey, watch like this, you're doing it wrong, videotape yourself. Go home, and then, you could pretty much assess your form and see how you're doing in that, okay? Because you don't want to be doing them wrong. You definitely don't want to do anything for any length of time learning how to do it and doing it all wrong, all right? So you start with some squats. You move on to some leg presses, okay? Then you can do some leg curls, lying leg curls, seated leg curls, doesn't matter. You got to hit the hamstring a little bit. And then you want to do a few sets of seated and a few sets of standing calf raises because, you don't want to neglect your calves. Calves are a really good-looking muscle. I tell you, I owned a store for about 18 years, and most of the guys who wore shorts, every time they turn around and they'd walk out the door, I would look at their calves. Now, some of you look at other body parts, I look at calves. Because when I see calves, it's one of two things. When I see impressive calves, it's either he's a pretty good genetic freak, this kid, or he's put his time in. And that's impressive when you see a big set of calves. Even if he got them from his mother, it's still pretty impressive, okay? So basically, that's the first protocol, okay? Now, right now, I'm going to stop the tape, and I'm going to put on the screen exactly how that works, okay? So you could screenshot it, you could write it down, whatever you want to do. So go do that right now, okay? And basically, I'll get back to part number 2, okay? So go ahead. Okay, so we're back. Now you understand how push-pull legs works. Pretty cool. We're going to go to the second protocol, all right? The second one is what I call the antagonistic method, okay? It's the one I'm currently doing right now. It's kind of an advanced technique, but it works out really, really good, okay? What you're doing with antagonisting, like antagonist, you're working out opposing muscle groups, okay? So a lot of that's like Arnold used to do back in the day, okay? So it's chest and back, it's bis and tris, it's hamstrings and quads, okay? So that's how you do that, and you work back and forth. It's very, very high intensity, so it's an advanced protocol. It's not for everybody. I mean, a beginner could do it. I'm not saying you can't, okay? But it's very high intensity. So the more years of training you have under your belt, or the more sports you have in your background where, you know about high intensity, like kind of the brink of puking, okay? So it'll serve you a little bit better. The more gas you got in your tank, the better it'll serve you, okay? It's very taxing on the cardiovascular system. You're going to be sucking wind if you do it right, okay? This is very fast-paced. It really helps if you have a training partner on these. Now, the main reason it helps if you have a training partner is because, let's say, for your first exercise, you're doing flat bench press. The minute you put that bar down, you're walking right over, and you're going to do a set of barbell rows. So you have to have kind of two machines or two stations open. And in the commercial gyms, busy times, sometimes people take your stuff, and now you're screwed, right? So it's a really good exercise protocol if you go during the day or earlier when there's not too many people in there, because you don't want to be that guy, taking up all the equipment, okay? But you're going to be using two stations. And on shoulders and arms day, you're using sometimes three. So think smart about your exercise choices so that you keep yourself contained in a small area and not walking across the gym in between sets. It's a lot of stuff, okay?